Hello everyone, this is Hakaym and welcome back to another episode of World of Warships, and today we are finally taking a look at the tier 10 French battleship, the Republique, and it's been kind of a long time coming. I will have to say the Alsace started to give me slight issue right before I finally decided to free XP the last bit that was needed for the ship. But she's proven to be a fairly fun battleship, especially if played properly. Very potent against the enemy team. We are playing on Hotspot. There is a carrier on this match, and I will have to say her AA is very fantastic. But in a moment, let's take a look at the team. We have a Taiho, Republique, Yamato, 2 Iowas, Lion, Neptune, Donskoy, Atago, Shimakaze, Fletcher, and Kagero. On the enemy team, there is an Essex, Montana, Kurfürst, Lion, Alsace, Musashi, Baltimore, Neptune, Hipper, Shimakaze, Yugumo, and a Kiev. So you can see, fortunately in this battle, there's not very high tier destroyers or cruisers, and obviously there's quite a bit of battleships, but like I said, her AA is actually really fantastic. Highly recommend getting AFT. AFT is really going to prove beneficial, but if a carrier is foolish enough to go after you or go after someone that's around you, your AA can do pretty sizable amount of damage and can wipe out a entire squadron of fighters or dive bombers or torpedo planes. But anyways, as you can see, we are starting to push towards A, and things are going to be interesting here in a moment. Now, the Republic obviously had a huge outcry on its design. As you can see, there's only 2 turrets, 4 guns each. However, they are 431 millimeters. They are the second largest caliber guns in the game. And one other nice thing about these guns is the fact that the shells actually have a very good velocity. And as you can see, they can hit pretty hard, but they have a very good shell velocity and they can penetrate pretty reliably. So with this good shell velocity, as I've alluded multiple times, is the fact that she can reliably hit a target at range better than any of the other tier 10 battleships. Now, unfortunately, we have just lost our Fletcher, which is definitely not good, because as you can see, there is in fact a destroyer around. And this destroyer we're going to see quite a bit. Now, torpedo protection on the Alsace is actually fairly decent. It's about the same as the Montanas, 39%, so you can at least reduce some of that damage. Obviously nothing compared to the Yamatos. But one major thing, as we're talking about the guns, is the fact you do have to show a fair amount of broadside just to get the majority, half of your other firepower into play. That's obviously the downside of this ship, is she does have to show broadside just to get the other amounts into play at this time. So as you can see, the enemy team is starting to push out towards the western side. The Montana's coming this way, as well as the Kurfürst and the Musashi. We'll see the Musashi in a little bit. Torpedoes incoming. One nice thing about this ship also, I'm really hyping this ship. I really do think she's a fun ship. Is she does have speed boost, which is very beneficial, and unfortunately, trying to dodge those torpedoes, the Kurfürst has decided to come around the corner. But fortunately for me, I did manage to slow up, and it's probably going to be a very good idea to actually get turned away as quickly as possible. I will have to say this ship's actually really good at kiting. It's very beneficial kiting whenever possible because she's quick. She has a decent firing angle on her guns, as well as she has very long range on her secondaries. Now, fortunately for us, the Musashi is firing HE. Don't know why. Just one of those BB players that think the Musashi requires HE. But as you can see, there are 3 shells penetrated, 2 overpens, and we did almost 15k against that Kurfürst. Now, fortunately for us, the CB is coming in to assist, which is going to help our survival, because at the moment, the Republic has one negative thing about her. Actually, there's a couple things negative about her. First of all, her AP pool, her HP pool, I guess, is probably the way I'm supposed to be saying it, probably should be saying it, is the lowest compared to any of the other tier 10s. Now you might be arguing, saying the Conqueror has the lowest health pool. Yes, it does, but the Conqueror has a super heal. The Republic does not. So that makes her the lowest as far as HP pool is concerned. Now the other thing is she has 32 millimeters of deck armor, which makes her very vulnerable to HE slinging cruisers, and in this instance, a HE slinging battleship. I understand why some people could say, yeah, he's using a good ammo type because of the armor, but it's a Musashi with Yamato caliber guns. It can overmatch the armor just fine, even at this angle. So no reason why this Musashi is using HE. But as you can see there, we did double citadel the Musashi, and we should be able to finish him off. But this dispersion, I will have to say, can be aggravating. Sometimes it's molto bene, but other times not so much. It just has that French thing going on. But unfortunately, we're also now being additionally focused by the cruisers, as well as there's a Montana. So I'm actually going to try to angle away from this Montana as quickly as possible. But as you can see, our secondaries are very beneficial. They can fire at quite a bit of range. And the Musashi is now dead. Fortunately, the Lion, I will have to give props to the Lion. He did a fantastic job assisting me in this battle, so very high props. Now, as you can see, enemy team has fairly good control over A. However, they are obviously down ships, and this Montana really wants us dead. Now, I will have to say, as I've pointed out, the shell velocity on the Republic can throw you off, especially if you're more accustomed to, say, the Montana, Yamato, Kurfürst, where their shell velocity is a little bit slower and requires a little bit more lead. So you will see me miss a few times, and I will fully admit that's my fault. I should not have either overled or, well, in that case, that was just dispersion. There's nothing I really do on that fact. But at this time, need to pull back, we need to heal. There is a near full health Montana, as well as you can see there is a possible destroyer around. And destroyer is the Kagero, and that is a very stealthy ship. But one nice thing about the Republic is the fact she's quick. And some destroyers might not realize how quick this battleship can go. So obviously Montana is a problem. Even at that range, she can penetrate us, but we're going to try to get turned around. No point in constantly running. And let's see if we can turn the tables on this enemy battleship and maybe surprise the enemy destroyer as well. So I've talked about her guns, I've talked about her speed. Her speed's very phenomenal, as you will see here in a moment when we get up to speed. She's actually fairly quick. Her AA is very fantastic. Her guns hit pretty hard, especially against enemy cruisers. And I will have to say her ruddership time's decent, 14.5 seconds I believe, but her turning circle radius is quite massive at 980 meters, so you do have to be extremely careful. And oh, looky there are torpedoes. I wonder from who. So as you can see, we're being hunted down by a enemy destroyer. I'll keep an eye on this Montana, keep an eye on chat, and oh, lo and behold, there's the enemy Yugamo, and he is well within secondaries. But unfortunately, the majority of our secondaries are in fact on the side of our ships, and don't really know if this Yugamo is running torpedo reload, which I think he is, because he does not smoke up at all. And here comes a few bad shots from me trying to take out this Yugamo. So trying to get our secondaries into play. They, once again, since they are actually bigger caliber size secondaries than the Alsace, they can actually hit pretty hard against destroyers. Now, trying to focus him down, he is obviously the most major threat. Yeah, that was a bad shot there. That was kind of a bad shot there. I will fully take that. But trying to get the secondaries on this Hakaym at the exact same time, trying to prevent myself from being outright killed by the Montana, and he's turning broadside. I wonder what he's doing. If you guessed, he's probably dropping torps. Yeah, that's probably what he's doing. And we should get close quarter expert right there. Very, very nice. And with that Hakaym now dead, Montana is all by himself and decides to leave the game. Yes. It's Montana, full health, decides to leave the game. Broadside to myself. So we're gonna farm some extra damage. So as you can see, close quarters, obviously Republic is going to have the best opportunity. Fortunately, I don't want to worry about this Montana shooting back. Once again, dispersion kind of goes every which way. High caliber earned right there, got another citadel. Montana is going to go down very, very quickly. Can we get kill number 2? That would be nice. Any moment now, guns reload, and once again the guns reload very quickly, and Lion comes in to take the kill. Now I will admit I was slightly annoyed at that fact, but he does point out that if he was not there, I probably would have been dead a little bit earlier. So high props to that Lion player. He did actually a really good job. I do compliment him in chat and after game, so he did a really good job. So all that's left on the enemy team is the Alsace, and one nice thing about the Republic is the fact she does have very, very good range. And I would almost say if you actually focus the Republic's main batteries, you could probably have her a little bit better as far as dispersion is concerned. But once again, your main issue is the fact that she only has 2 turrets, and her secondaries actually kind of complement that with the ability to do additional damage to get those fires. And of course we get a ricochet, why the hell not? But anyways, that's pretty much going to be it. I will have to give props to the Alsace player. As you can see, he did take out 2 of their destroyers, so 2 of our destroyers in fact actually, that were trying to kill him. So he did a really good job there. So anyways, that's going to be it for this replay. So our team earned a victory, brought home 365,872 silver, 3,040 XP. We earned close quarter expert, dreadnought, and high caliber. We did 238,957 points of damage, 45 shell hits, 1 plane shot down, 1 kill, 6 fires, 4 citadels, and 206 secondary hits. We were top of the team with the base XP of 1,876. Damage wise, Hakaym, we did around 12,000. Montana was where we got majority of our damage at 89,000. Musashi second, 69. Kerfer 61. Baltimore around 6,000. Main batteries did 159,332 points of damage. Secondaries did a nice 37,631s, and fires did 41,994. So overall, not a bad example of the Kerfers. The only thing really missing from this battle is her AA, and I really do want to show that, and I will be doing a video of the Republic with her AA in a video on this Sunday, on Fun Day Sunday, so keep an eye out for that if you're kind of curious on how good her AA is. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and jump into port. I will see you guys there. Alright everyone, welcome back to the port, and the Republic has kind of grown on me. I think she's a fun ship. She can be very powerful, and she can be very frustrating at the exact same time. But I definitely feel like she's a much greater improved ship compared to the Alsace. Don't get me wrong, the Alsace was fun, but with the Republique, she can actually penetrate and do fairly significant amount of damage, even against some armored cruiser because of the caliber of her guns. Still won't always get that overmatched mechanic, Obviously, compared to the Yamato still holds that crown and glory. But you can still do pretty sizable amount of damage against enemy cruisers and even enemy battleships for that matter. But let's go ahead and take a look at the stats. So survivability 92,400 technically has the second worst as far as health is concerned. However, Conqueror has an amazing heal. Conqueror can outlive a Republic very easily, so technically the Republic has the worst amount of health compared to any of the other tier 10 battleships. Armor is pretty decent, 590. However, last time I checked, and it's been some time, I don't know if they have fixed this, but she can be citadeled still with 203 last time I checked. It has been a little bit, I haven't actually tried it out, but with cruiser AP, she can be citadeled around 12 kilometers away. So you do have to keep that in mind, but it's not very often that you're going to be seeing that. She can obviously be citadeled by any other cruiser, especially long range, because she does have turtleback armor, which is nice. So long range, you will probably be citadeled quite easily. However, closer up, definitely able to ricochet most of those shells. Main battery guns, 590 meters. I don't feel like she gets her guns knocked out as much as the Alsace. Because the Alsace has a little bit less. Kurfürst even has less, 400 meters on the front and 250 and 200 on the side and top, while she has 254 on the side cheek here, but is thinner back here. Actually, I'm looking at the wrong ship, sorry about that. 350, so definitely thicker armor compared to most other battleships. However, one major downside of the Republic is going to be the fact that she does run 32mm deck armor on the majority of all the ship. So HE damage is always going to be easily penetrated with this armor. So you do have to be careful about cruisers, but for the most part, the Republic kind of is a long range battleship's very good at kiting, I would have to say. There's been many instances of actually being able to survive and deal fairly significant amount of damage while kiting. So I feel like she's fairly good at that, which I mean is a very good French thing. I'm just kidding there. But so do keep it in mind. Torpedo protection though, however, is lousy, 39%. Yamato obviously is going to have the best, 56%. Montana also at 39, so very similar to that. Kurfürst definitely has the worst at 27%, and Conqueror just a little bit better. So essentially, as far as torpedo protection, is very similar to the Montana. Definitely not as good as the Yamato, but you can never be as good as the Yamato. Alright, let's go ahead and take a look at the guns. This is where it's interesting. Now, I remember when the ship was first released and everyone was going cuckoo crazy because she only had 2 turrets. They do have 4 guns, and they are 431 millimeters, which is the second largest caliber in the game. And even though she only has 2 guns, they reload very, very quickly, 21.1 seconds. No other battleship can do this unless they have adrenaline rush and they are very low on health. So very quick reloading guns on very large caliber shells. Pretty devastating. Yes, she only has 8, and yes, you do actually have to show a decent broadside. I will have to say the very rear turret does have a good firing angle, so you don't have to show full broadside just to get this rear turret off to even fire. Moving on to dispersion, I will have to say sometimes they're good, but you do get that very wonky dispersion every now and then. Turn time on the guns is 33.6 seconds. Max dispersion is 322 meters at a range of 26.1 kilometers, which is pretty fantastic. Max HE damage is not impressive, 6,300. Fire chance is very decent, 48% fire chance. AP damage 14,500. which is fantastic. And one nice thing about these guns is they have a shell velocity of 840 meters per second, which makes aiming very reliable. You don't have to provide that much lead whenever firing at a target, and it's something I'm gonna have to get used to because a lot of the other battleships require a little bit more lead. This ship, not so much. 840 meters per second, fairly darn good as far as landing your shells. Just gotta keep in mind that you don't have to lead as much compared to the other battleships. Moving on to her secondary guns. Definitely a little bit better than the Alsace, I will have to give it that. You have 8 dual 127 millimeters, which is definitely so much better because now you can actually penetrate destroyer armor and cruiser armor and battleship superstructure. Very fantastic. 3.8 second reload time on these guns, 1800 HE damage with a 9% fire chance with a 12.1 kilometer range. 12.1, curve first. Keep in mind, curve is probably going to be a good comparison. Has 11.6, so you have about half a kilometer more of secondary range than the curve. However, the curve does have 128s instead of 127. However, the Republique actually has 152s instead of 150s. So the 152, you have 3 triple 152s, so you have, I believe, 1 additional gun compared to the curve, if my memory serves me. They have a 7.6 second reload time, 12% fire chance, max HE damage is 2,200. You have 2 in the front, 1 in the stern, and a 12.1 kilometer range. So, I mean, fairly decent as far as secondaries. They are very fun to have, especially at that range. Very fun to have. Now let's actually look at the next best thing of the Republique. Her AA. Oh my god, her AA is really good. I will be showing a replay of the ship this Sunday where I shoot down 46 planes. Granted, they were Enterprise, so granted they were of a lower tier. However, she can still do and defend herself against planes. Not always going to be able to shoot them all down, but she can in fact do them because her A is actually pretty decent. And I do run AFT, which does buff the range. You do have 12 dual 57 millimeters. They have an average damage of 337 per second with a 5.4 kilometer range. Then you have 8 dual 127, 138 average damage with a 6.2 kilometer range. And then your main secondaries, your largest secondaries, 3 triple 152s with the average damage of 36 with a 6 kilometer range. Her main AA guns are going to be the 57 millimeters and the 127. The 57 millimeters are where you're going to get most of your damage, and if you spec this ship for a manual AA, focus everything AA, I could imagine her being very potent, even better than the Montana as far as taking out enemy planes. So AA is pretty good. Highly recommend keep an eye on your AA. Try to boost it if possible because it is very beneficial to have good AA on a tier 10 battleship, because tier 10 battleships are big and they have a big turning circle radius plus a fairly lousy rudder shift time, semi-decent. Let's actually talk about her maneuverability. As I did mention, she does have a very large turning circle radius, not as big as some other ships, but pretty darn big. 980 meters, 20 meters shy of the curve. Yes, pretty big. Rudder shift time is decent, 14.6 seconds. I did switch from the damage comm to the rudder shift time module, so that definitely does help. But one nice thing about the Republique is the fact that how fast she is. She is incredibly fast at 31.5 knots. This does have the speed flag, but she also gets the engine boost, which gets her up to around 33 to 34 knots. So makes her pretty quick and very maneuverable to get around the map. Very beneficial for this ship. And last but not least, concealment, 13.5 kilometers. Kind of middle of the road. Montana, I believe, is a little bit better, only by 100 meters than Republic, but not as stealthy as obviously the Conqueror. No one can be really that stealthy. Yamato has the same at 13.5, so very middle of the road, very similar to the other tier 10 battleships. While range by air is 13 kilometers, and while firing in smoke is 18.3 kilometers, so not very often you're going to be doing that. However, you can definitely use the secondaries to your advantage with smoke. Moving on to modules, as I did mention, I did switch out the damage comm for the steering gears modification too. That's the only thing that has really shifted when I changed up to the Republic. As per usual, I have gone for auxiliary armaments mod 1, damage comm system mod 1, secondary battery modification 2, steering gears, concealment expert, and main battery modification 3. And one last thing is she does not have a fighter. You have no way to really defend yourself other than your own AA on your ship. So you don't have any additional protection. You have no way of spotting. The engine boost does give you 8% increase to your max speed. You could, and I probably don't really recommend it, you could opt for the upgrade module for your engine boost just to make it last a little bit longer. But honestly, I don't think it's viable. I don't think it's really of much use for you. So you might as well just keep it the same as everything. Captain has stayed the same. I have actually really debated whether or not to get rid of either manual fire of secondary guns or AFT, opt for Adrenaline Rush and BFT just to make the guns a little bit faster firing. Adrenaline Rush for this captain, which is the special captain, does get a 0.25% boost for reload time instead of the normal 0.1. So it could be beneficial, but I still like having that range, and it can prove viable, especially at 12.1 kilometers with your secondary guns. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and end off this video. Thank you guys so much for joining in. And we have finally collected all the tier 10 ships up to this point. This is obviously prior to any split branches that are coming up here soon, or obviously CVs. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you like what you saw, hit the like and subscribe button. You guys have a great and fantastic day. Zaijian.